we're going to move on to the other series that is actually going on right now. We're about 5 minutes into the second, and it's 2-0 Vegas. So we have the Vegas Golden Knights facing off against the North Division champ Montreal Canadiens, who in many of our expectations, and no one expected this. I mean, this is very exciting, except James. We're actually going to start in the North. A complete sweep of Winnipeg Jets. They were the Habs were the last to start their series, and they were first to be done. I mean, I talk about weird irony. They have maybe 5,000 fans in the stands in the last couple games. They're on a 7-game winning streak right now. They're looking good. James, Carey Price, man, talk about this guy.
Oh, talk about it. Okay. Yeah, let's talk about it. Like I'd mentioned last episode, I think Carey Price is the best playoff goalie that the league has to offer right now. And he's proving me right every single step of the way. Currently, he has a .935 save percentage, not including this game right now. It's definitely gone lower after he's let in 2 goals. But that's besides the point. I mean, the guy shows up for his team. He's a veteran leader. He's there day in and day out, much like Vasilevsky for the Lightning. He's the only goaltender that's played for this team this entire playoff series. Jake Allen has not seen 1 minute, not seen 1 second on the ice. It's just been straight up Carey Price. And I think Carey Price plays better the more he's on the ice. He likes getting a feel for the game, and he likes being out there. If you sub him out, it's going to throw him off his game. And right now he's on it. I mean, granted, he's letting 2 goals, but I think you can chalk that up to kind of rust. This is the first time in a little over 3-4 weeks where he's actually had a break. Because like you said, last team to make it into the playoffs, then went 7 games, then all of a sudden had this sweep and had a couple of days off. So he's just getting his legs under him, his ice legs, if you will. That was stupid. We got to erase that. But anyway, ice legs, yeah. But yeah, Carey Price, man, he's the leader of this team. He's gonna will this team to victory if his team has his back. And I think as of right now, they're playing like they did in the bubble last season. They're playing together. They're playing team offense. Like there's, I think, 19 different guys who have a point on this team, and Tyler Toffoli leads it with 10. But that's team-oriented offense. It's not just like 6 or 7 guys that have all the points. There's 19 of them. They're playing lines 1 through 4. They're all going at it, and they're doing their best to get the game win. And they're playing because of Carey Price, team leader.
Yeah, I like that. I really like that. That's a good answer. This team actually, it didn't. I guess in hindsight, it shouldn't have shocked me that the Toronto Maple Leafs lost in that first round, because quite frankly, the Toronto Maple Leafs can't make it past the first round. That's just their mantra. I am quite surprised by the sweep. That did surprise me, considering the fact that Alex, and I agree with him. Hellebuck's probably one of the best goalies in the league, and he showed that against the Edmonton Oilers. He completely lost it. He was gone. And there's no player on that Habs team that you guys can tell me is a better goal scorer than any of the 2 top players on the Edmonton Oilers. But they're buying into a system. They're playing a team offense. And they're making it work. And on the other side, Tyler, you seem quite, excited to talk about this team. And I'm excited to talk about this team. I love this team. You have the Western Division champs, the Vegas Golden Knights, who, what a series, beat the Colorado Avalanche after, the first 2 games. And I would say the first game and a half where they, were dominated. And then it seems like they completely took over. That I will say that the Avalanche's last game, I guess game 6, was probably their best game of the last 4. And they still lost. They probably deserved to win, and they still lost. It's interesting how all that stuff balances out, where, Vegas probably should have won game 2. Colorado probably should have won game 6. There's just a balancing act, and that's why it's a best of 7. Tyler, I think we can agree that the Habs are a bit of a downgrade, at least on paper, to the Colorado Avalanche. But I'm seeing a very tenacious, resilient Montreal Canadiens team. How do you think Vegas is going to fare against this type of hockey, where it's going to be slower, but these guys are hitting, these guys are hungry? What do you got?
Yeah, very different series, as you mentioned. compared to the previous one against Colorado. So, a team that they haven't seen all season, which is what everyone else is going through right now. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of how the first two games go compared to how teams adjust. Obviously, on paper, this Vegas team is definitely more talented than Montreal is. But Montreal, as James mentioned, has Price, and he's going to keep this Habs team in it. And it's going to be a great goaltending matchup between him and Marc-Andre Fleury. That's going to be super fun to watch. But, I mean, just the way the Knights with their offensive depth, and it just seems like lines 1 through 4 are coming at you. I think Montreal has the energy lines 1 through 4, but I just don't think they have the talent to match up with Vegas. So I just think Vegas will win this series, but I think the Habs will make it more competitive than people think. The Habs have been playing great hockey. They've been surprising people all throughout the whole playoffs. And that's playoff hockey, man. Like, these teams are in the playoffs for a reason. The Habs are they're not some bottom feeder team that, doesn't deserve to be here. They're a great hockey team, but Vegas is just deeper, I think, faster, just more talented with the puck. And I think they'll come out on top of this series.
James, I want to ask you, you did mention there's 19 players with a point. The scoring seems to somewhat, like, the actual goal scoring seems to stop like in droves after the first two those first two the lines, and you're just not quite, you're seeing it much differently on the other side. You're seeing a fourth line chip in every now and then. You're seeing a third line really chip in, and then the first two lines are just really dominating. At least they dominated the Colorado Avalanche. Do you worry about the depth scoring in those bottom two lines, and how do you think that the depth of the roster compares to the Golden Knights?
I want to speak to something that Tyler said a second ago before I answer your question. And Tyler mentioned multiple times talent and how talent is going to get the Vegas Golden Knights through this series. And talent is a very deceptive thing. A team can have all the talent in the world. Like, think about the Lakers when they had Kobe, Shaq, Gary Payton, Karl Malone. That's a lot of talent right there. That team didn't win it all. They didn't make it past the second round. Talent means nothing if you can't put it all together. And I'm not saying that the Golden Knights can't put it all together, because they most definitely can. But that can't be your main argument to why they're going to win the series. That just can't. Talent is nothing without putting it into motion or team chemistry. Going to your question about depth scoring, yeah, I definitely worry about it. It really just seems like Tyler Toffoli is going to be in there and kind of do his thing. But the thing that we don't see, that I think you forgot, is that Jeff Petrie has been out for the last 2 games. When Jeff Petrie comes back, he's a defenseman, so he's going to play a little bit more with those like 2, 3, 4 lines on offense. And he had the most points for a defenseman for the Canadiens. And him being back out there is able to move the puck and hopefully energize those lines 2, 3, 4 to help them get more goal scoring. Jeff Petrie was a huge part of this season, and like a huge part of series number 1. Unfortunately, he dislocated a couple of his fingers as he got them stuck in a camera hole during a game, which is super ridiculous, freak injury. But I mean, the way that the Canadiens play is that they run an NBA style defense where they kind of pressure you at the top with a forecheck and then drop to take off all the passing lanes. If you get the puck on the outside, they're going to let you do it, but they're going to kind of congest everything to bring it through. And then once they get the puck, they're just going to push. It's going to be a fast break, wide open. That's their offense. With somebody like Jeff Petrie out there, he's going to move the puck a whole lot better. And so that should help lines 2 through 4 produce at a higher rate.
I like that. I like that a lot. I think I agree. They need Petrie, and that's just I don't mean to bring up the Oilers every time, but that's another player that we let go. And look, I mean, this is what we get. We give up talent, and they go on to do great things. And I love watching them play. Look, guys, this series is very interesting. We have a team that, to your point, James, I think you're right in that you can't, like, your main argument can't be talent, but I would say that both of these teams excel at buying into a system and playing that system as a team with players that are not, very similar to the Islanders. They're not, wholesale, retail, high retail names, right? you don't have to worry. I mean, there's no Stamkos, there's no Kucherov. Both two teams do not have the greatest of talents, but they have players like Nick Suzuki, who is playing both sides of the puck. Mark Stone, who in my opinion deserves the Selke, and we're gonna have a conversation on that when the playoffs are over. He should win the Selke. He's that dominant of a two-way player, and he's a great captain. This team has probably more talent, but both teams are playing at their best as a team. So I have to think that the Vegas Golden Knights are going to win, but I would not be surprised if the Habs slow them down and make a mess of some of these games and find ways to and have Carey Price steal some games. I would not be surprised by that. And we could see, Montreal pull up an upset. So James, how many games is it going to take for the Canadiens to win in your mind?
Habs in 6.
Habs in 6. I like that. Tyler?
Knights in 5.
Knights in 5. Okay. Alex, did you first of all, do you have any comments on this series?
I just don't want Vegas to win. Like, I just don't. I want Alex Martinez to win because he's the fucking man. I would be like, I don't really care as much about Brady McNabb. Pretty much just saying former Kings players. I think both boys made a really good points. I think Montreal can win this series, but they're going to have to play their best hockey. But if you think about it also, they're on a 7-game win streak right now. So they are playing their best hockey. I am going to go Vegas in 6 because they always win when I pick against them. So maybe if I pick for them, they'll lose. I'm thinking with your noodle.
I like that. Galaxy brain. Your galaxy brain. I'm gonna say the Vegas Golden Knights should win this in 6. I would love to see this game or this go to 6 or 7. I mean, I think the more hockey, the better. But we have 2 very good series, guys, and it's good hockey. It's fast hockey. This is some of the best playoffs I've seen in a while. Just keep on coming. I mean, this is fun. This is what we sign up for. If Tampa loses, we're going to get another new winner, and another, one of those 3 have never won or haven't won in a while anyway. So this will be fun.